The league's first all-time leading scorer was 1940s scoring sensation Joe Fulks of the Philadelphia Warriors, now known as the Golden State Warriors. He was eventually passed by the league's first true superstar, George Mikan, I believe. Now, after Mikan retired, I think there was another person that passed him, but I can't remember who it was. It may have been a guy like Dolph Schayes. I think Dolph Schayes may have been an all-time leading scorer for a while, but eventually it was the St. Louis Hawks' Bob Pettit, who when he retired the 1964-65 season was their all-time leading scorer with 20,880 points. But his reign as the all-time scoring leader did not last long at all. I think, as a matter of fact, I believe it was the very next season that Wilt Chamberlain surpassed him. And Wilt retired after the 72-73 season as the all-time leading scorer with 31,419 points. His record lasted for 11 years until, I believe it was an April 1984 regular season game between the Los Angeles Lakers and Utah Jazz, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar nailed a skyhook over Jazz center Mark Eaton and surpassed Wilt with 31,420 points. Abdul-Jabbar retired after the 88-89 season with 38,387 points. And that record has stood for over a quarter of a century. It was looking like Karl Malone, the Utah Jazz power forward, was going to surpass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but after the death of, I believe, his grandmother in 2004, and suffering a serious injury for the first time in his career during the 2003-2004 season with the Lakers. Wow, so many parallels with Lakers and Jazz in this video. He lost his motivation to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, and he retired. So no one has ever seriously come close to his record. Everyone pretty much knew Kobe wasn't going to pass him. He wasn't even going to get close to Karl, who is at 36,948 points, I believe. Or 28, one of the two. But there's one individual right now who I think has a good shot at it, and it's LeBron James. I think LeBron James, if his body can hold up, and that's the big if his body can hold up, he has a shot at the record. Right now, he has 26,833 points. And he's 31 years old. Now, he's at an age where players do tend to decline as far as their production is concerned. I don't think that he's going to average 30 points per game again, just because of the team he plays on. He plays around too much. He has too much talent on his team. I don't think LeBron James is as interested in scoring titles. He's interested in championships, and despite the fact that he played very well during the finals and for large stretches in the postseason, during the regular season and even in the playoffs, you could see some decline in his offensive game. His jumper, which had improved quite dramatically with the Miami Heat. Now, he wasn't a Stephen Curry knockdown shooter, but his jumper had improved. His jumper it seems more inconsistent now. He seems to have declined a little bit in his offensive game as far as in the post. Never was he a tremendous post player, but he had shown improvement. He seems to have declined a little bit in that area. But based on what I saw this year, and let's say he plays at the same level, hopefully it's not a big decline. I don't think so. He's 13th all-time right now in pro basketball history. I include the ABA when I do these things. And barring injury, this year he should pass people like Dirk Nowitzki, I believe. Dirk Nowitzki, Elvin Hayes, Moses Malone. Well, not Moses Malone because I think you have to include the ABA. I believe it's Elvin Hayes. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think it's Elvin Hayes is one of them. Dirk Nowitzki. Shaquille O'Neal. I think it's someone I'm forgetting. Maybe Akeem Olajuwon. And barring injury, this year he'll move into the top 10 all-time in scoring. And he'll be only 32 years old. I think Dan Essel's one of them, too, I didn't mention. Dan Essel, who played with the Kentucky Colonels and the ABA and for the Denver Nuggets and the NBA. But anyway, he'll be in the top 10 in scoring, and he'll be only 32 years old. And he should be well over 28,000 points. And I think if I didn't mention that, I think he'll pass Shaquille O'Neal this year, too, as well. I think it's one of the persons I didn't mention. And if he is near 29,000 points, then that leaves only, what? Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, Michael, Wilt, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, very few people, that's 7 that I count, that's ahead of him. You know, he'll be right there. And actually, I think Dirk is up there, I think Dirk is actually up a little higher than 26,000. And I think maybe Dirk. I think Dirk is at 28,000 some points. I'm not too sure. But I think Dirk is at over 28,000 points. But, but the difference between LeBron and Dirk is that Dirk is 38 years old, 39 years old. LeBron's only 31, going on 32. So he has a couple of more years where he's going to score, barring injury, somewhere in the vicinity, I'm saying between 1,800 and 2,000 points per season. If he just scores 1,800 points the year after, this year coming up, then that pushes him past so many different people, including Wilt Chamberlain. And including Michael Jordan, perhaps. So he'll be over 32,000 points, or close to 32,000 points. And he'll be only 33 years old. And then he plays another season. Let's say he scores somewhere in the same vicinity of points. He's well past Kobe Bryant, and he's looking square at Karl Malone at age 34. So it's very, very possible. The two components of this would be injury, and if he plays long enough, he may not want to play that long. But being the fact that he wants to be perceived as the greatest of all time, being the league's all-time leading scorer will sure help in that argument. Now, granted, unlike a guy like Michael Jordan, he had the benefit of coming right out of high school. Jordan played 3 years of college and retired 3 times. Once in 93, once in January 99, and for the final time after the 2002-2003 NBA season. And of course, we all know that if Michael Jordan never retired, this wouldn't even be a conversation, because he'd be the only player with 40,000 career points. During his Wizards career, Jordan averaged 21.2 points per game. During his three-peat years from 95 to 98, including the 17-game stint during the 94-95 season, he averaged 29.4 points per game, on a little bit under 48% shooting. During his initial career from 84 to 93, Mike averaged 3 points per game on well over 51% shooting from the field. So, like I said, his production declined, Michael's, after age 32, but he still was a very effective player and was, in my opinion, still the best player in the NBA. Some people think it was Shaq, but I think Jordan's still the best player in the league. And LeBron James has reestablished himself as the best player in the league. And I think that if he has the health of, say, and longevity of someone like a Karl Malone, who played exceptionally well all the way up until age 40, or he has the health of a Elvin Hayes, who only missed, 6 games in 16 seasons? If you're a guy like that, if he has the health of someone like that, then the sky's the limit as far as, the numbers that he'll put up when everything is said and done. If he plays that long, yeah, I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record may be in jeopardy. And that's a big may, because I also have to say this at the end of the video too. Whatever records that LeBron James sets, there's only one other guy I can think of that may possibly surpass him. And I don't think he's as good a player as LeBron is, but the fact that he won so many scoring titles earlier in his career puts him at threat too. A guy by the name of Kevin Durant may eventually surpass LeBron. So we'll all have to see. Just tell me what you guys think. Do you think that LeBron James will eventually surpass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the league's all-time leading scorer?